Okay, we know you've heard all the lectures about being careful with raw chicken and meat in your kitchen. You know that spreading bacteria can make people sick, so you do the right thing, right? Well, Sylvia Chase tells us there may be a difference between what we say and what we do, or think we do.
Imagine a town taken over by video cameras, not 10, not 50, but 100 cameras, catching every move in Logan, Utah kitchens. What seems like slicing, dicing, mixing, and mashing is actually a unique study in human behavior.
Everyone involved in the study, when we looked at the tapes, we saw ourselves there. And we said, oh my goodness, I do that at home. She'll probably never go back and clean that.
Dr. Tom Schuster and Professor Janet Anderson, with a grant from the Food and Drug Administration, gave 100 volunteers $50, a few recipes, and a bag of groceries, and told them only that their cooking would be taped for market research. Did you know how big the problem was until you looked at those videotapes?
I think I was very surprised to see how people handle food and the risks that they choose to make.
Is surprised the right word?
Sometimes I have used the word shocked.
Shocked by scenes like these. Evelyn Hobbs has ground beef on a plate, and then she puts bread on the same plate. She apparently doesn't realize she's contaminated it. And as for her hand washing, just once over lightly. This youngster's mouth in the vegetable grater was just the beginning. Here's the cucumber in his hand, and now, oops, right into the family salad. Now here's Walt Young, preparing raw chicken. Okay, wiping the juice away. But wait, what's he doing with that towel now? Oh no, not on the baby's face.
These mistakes are made by all of us. The consumers in our study, there's nothing unique about them. As a matter of fact, they probably handle food better than many populations.
Debbie and Todd Breaker live in Logan too, raising 4 children and managing 2 careers. They agreed to let primetime cameras into their kitchen, and by the way, they had no idea what we were up to. A few weeks later, we showed them the results. Did you notice where you put your chicken?
In the refrigerator.
In the fridge, where it fit. On top of something else?
Yeah, and the chicken can drip on other things in the refrigerator. But don't be dismayed, a lot of people did it. The Utah experts say safe food storage begins with wrapping meat products or storing them on the bottom shelf. Next, hand washing, early and often. You washed your hands, but never very long.
No.
And it's not a question of running your hands under the water. It's 20 seconds, soap, good scrubbing.
Wow.
Does it surprise you?
Yeah, it does. Because you just think, you know, you wash the chicken juice off your hands, just and it would be gone.
And towels present another risk. Todd's hands, sticky with raw chicken, are wiped on a dish rag. Now here comes Debbie. She trailed this dirty towel through every task. It's what the Utah team calls the nexus of cross-contamination.
People come and wipe their hands and then continue to use that throughout the entire cooking process, potentially spreading pathogens throughout the products that they're preparing.
Pathogens, harmful bacteria that make you sick. A lot of them come straight from the supermarket.
At least a quarter of the food that you bring into your house contains disease-causing bacteria.
Microbiologist Bart Weimer, a member of the Utah State team, conducted a study at Primetime's expense, buying meat products at random Logan stores. When he analyzed the food in his lab, 20% of the chicken contained salmonella, and 40% of the fish samples were contaminated with listeria.
95% of the people who get listeria end up in the hospital. And of those people, about 12% die.
But the most notorious pathogen Dr. Weimer found was in our ground beef. 36% of the samples contained E. coli 0157, the kind that killed 4 children and sickened hundreds of Jack in the Box customers in 1993. But it's home cooking that causes half of the 76 million foodborne illnesses reported annually. And only a change in behavior can lower that statistic. To show the part cross-contamination plays in food poisoning, we used GlowGerm. The Breakers were unaware we had covered their chicken with this harmless substance, only visible under ultraviolet light. Todd and Debbie roamed their kitchen, routinely touching ordinary surfaces after they had handled the chicken. We then turned off the overhead light to show them the trail they'd left.
Oh man, it splattered everywhere. Look at that, it's everywhere.
Glow-germed raw chicken juice. Cross-contamination on the cutting board, the cabinet doors, the faucet, even under their fingernails.
Ew. Look at that, look at how dirty you are. Wow, it's all over. It must have like splattered, look at that.
But most troubling to the Bragers was the glow germ on the drinking cup of their 2.5-year-old son, Noah.
That's bad.
When you just talk about germs, it's really something that you don't see. So I think if everyone did that, if everyone had that stuff once, they would realize.
Undercooking also makes an enormous contribution to millions of cases of food poisoning.
Do you want to cut that open to make sure that that chicken cooked all the way
done.
through?
It's 40 minutes at 350. It's done.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Debbie was right to be concerned. The only way to protect your family is to cook meat products to the proper temperature, and the only way to be sure is to use a thermometer. So how did all of the 100 families caught on camera do?
Every consumer made a mistake in food handling. There was not one subject that we could say did a perfect job.
But the Bragers say they're going to try harder. What's the first thing you're going to do tonight before you cook dinner?
Wash your hands longer.
Besides eat out.
Besides, eat at a restaurant.